New Prime Minister of the UK, Liz Truss, did something shocking. Can you imagine? A conservative politician chose to cut taxes for the rich. Oh my goodness, crazy. So why am I talking about this? This is an American politics show. Well, because what is going wrong right now in the UK because of these tax cuts that she's doing is just another example that this ideology of kind of the trickle down economics mindset that if you cut taxes for those who really don't need their taxes cut, you're going to magically help the economy. And pretty much unanimously, a large chunk of the economist community is like, hey, this was horrible based on the outcome that it has caused. And so we'll talk about Fox News saying this is amazing and how this is exactly what conservative politicians push for here. And this is a case study as to why this is not smart. Liz Truss and Kwasi Kwarteng have doubled down on their economic plans after the chancellor's mini budget plunged the markets into chaos. In her first public comment since the announcements, Truss defended the measures, insisting urgent action was needed and that hers was the right plan. Kwarteng's announcement on Friday, which included tax cuts worth tens of billions, sparked a sharp drop in the value of the pound and a surge in the price of government debt. It was harshly criticized by economists, with the IMF taking the unusual step of criticizing the unfunded tax cuts and warning that policies could increase inequality. Take a look at this. This is a little graph that shows you. On the far left is the number 1. On the far right is the number 20, and it counts up. 1 represents the poorest people in the UK, and 20 represents the wealthiest. You can see none of the benefits are going to those at the bottom or the middle. It's all going to those at the top. Absolutely incredible. We see this time and time again in countries across the world, especially people who have a similar ideology as our conservative politicians here, who believe, they don't really believe it, but they pretend to believe that, hey, we can help the average American by giving all of the money to the wealthy. It doesn't work. It's crushing right now the UK markets and the economy at large. It doesn't look good for the future, but yet they do it anyways, and they continue to push for it because likely that is who's funding oftentimes their campaigns and who they really are fighting on behalf of, and it's horrible. So you can see here a recent poll taken is showing huge gains for the Labour Party because the Conservative Party is representing this action. So I'll show you this graph once I can get it loaded. There we go. So the Labour Party at 45%, Conservative Party at 28%, and usually the Conservative Party is pretty dominant. That's why they've won so many elections. And then here, some of the actions that were taken in this mini budget, polled directly. Do you think it's a good idea or a wrong priority? Those at the kind of bottom 4 ones here that benefit the wealthy disproportionately are not popular at all. But then take a look at Fox Businesses talking about this. I just gave you the reality of the situation. Here's the reality on Fox Business.
So, the U.S. midterm elections cavalry arrived early in London. What do I mean by that? Well, the new British Prime Minister Liz Truss has laid out a terrific supply-side economic growth plan, which looks a lot like the basic thrust of Kevin McCarthy's Commitment to America plan. Let's start with Truss. She is slashing tax rates and deregulating energy. I just love it. That's the liberal business media. This is wonderful. The liberal business media. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes. Okay, so I love that he compared it to Kevin McCarthy. Because what he's saying is, listen, what the plan that Liz Truss and the other individual that I'm less familiar with have enacted, that is currently hurting, obviously, economically, and is not looking good going forward. That is very similar to what the current Republican Party wants to push for. So true. Absolutely. I hope they run on that. But it's clear. We need to stop believing people when they tell us, let's try trickle-down economics. Maybe it'll work good this time. No. Now, everyone uses different terms. We got to stimulate business. Sometimes they use to cut massive companies' taxes, or we need those at the top to be encouraged to invest more, and that's why we need to cut their taxes a bunch. And especially in the United States, where we already don't tax that aggressively the wealthy, we definitely should not believe people when they say that type of rhetoric or when they spread that type of rhetoric, because it time and time again is proven not to be true.